Greetings for the day. Welcome to another session of soft computing. My name is Mohammed Ali. In last session, we studied about an overview of what fuzzy arithmetic, fuzzy operations, and the different types of operations that can be performed on fuzzy arithmetic we have seen. In today's session, we are going to learn about what actually is fuzzy arithmetic. What is arithmetic basically? Arithmetic calculations or arithmetic things are basic mathematical operations that can be performed on any of the numbers. Now, before going into what actually fuzzy arithmetic is, let me revise the thing like what actually is fuzzy. Fuzzy is something which is not clear or which is something which is vague and something of the value which is not predictable absolutely, and the values that changes, that type of things or that type of situation is called as a fuzzy. Now, what is the definition given over here? Fuzzy arithmetic or arithmetic of fuzzy number is generalization of interval arithmetic, where rather than considering intervals at one constant level only, several levels are considered between the intervals 0 and 1. What this means, if at all we consider the crisp type of a value, in that if you observe the values are either 0 or 1, the value is either 0 or 1, but whereas in fuzzy the value ranges between 0 and 1. The value ranges between 0 and 1. It means the value can be 0, which cannot be considered. The value can be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.9 and also 1. Now why we are not considering 0? Why, in the sense, if at all if we consider 0 or if we not consider 0, both the situation remains the same. Both the situation remains the same. So that's the reason we are not considering 0. Now what actually here the statement is saying, that with reference to the fuzzy arithmetic, the value will range between 0 and 1. The value will not be either 0 or 1. The value will range between 0 and 1. This is in comparison to the value or the crisp value that we are getting. If at all we consider the crisp value, you will be having the value either 0 or 1 or like either both of the one. Okay, but when you're considering the fuzzy type of things, the value will be 0, 1 or the interval between 0 and 1. What is the interval between 0 and 1? 0.1, 0.2, 0.5 as we have seen. Now moving forward, what it says, this is because the definition of a fuzzy set which allows degree of membership for an element of the universal set. It means there is a universal set and there are some subsets of it. Now this subset will belong to that universal set. If you remember the example that I gave you, I'll repeat the example. Let us consider humans as a universal set, and among that engineers, doctors, architects, lawyers, advocates, these are the subsets. These are the subsets. If at all you are speaking with reference to the crisp logic, no two subsets will collide with one another. Doctor is never related to an engineer. Engineer is never related to an architect. Architect is never related to a lawyer. And lawyer is never related to an advocate. All of these professions are unique. But when you consider with reference to the fuzzy system tells that there is some of the link between these two sets. But the type of link between these two sets may vary from system to system or from universal set to universal set. For an instance, if we consider the relation between doctor and engineer, overall if you see there is no relation between doctor and engineer, but internally doctor helps engineer and engineer helps the doctor. How? The machinery that the doctor uses is being made by engineers. is being made by engineers. And how doctors are helping engineers? With the help of that device that is being made, doctor analyzes the engineer's work and they will report to engineers so that it can more further be improved. If at all, if you see with reference to the crisp system, there is no interconnection. But if you consider with reference to the fuzzy system, the level of consideration or with the level of belonging to the membership function varies from set to set or from value to value. That is being said over here. Now, it plays an important role in many applications, say fuzzy control, decision making, approximate reasoning, optimization and statistics with imprecise probabilities. In the sense, main reason why fuzzy system is being used is to predict something, or to analyze something. For that particular reason, a fuzzy type system is being used. If at all, if you want to make directly a decision, at that instance we will be using crisp type of system, wherein you will be directly getting the result. Whereas if at all, if you speaking with reference to the fuzzy system, it is all dependent upon the predictions, all of the possible ways and all of the possible things that can happen. That is being said over here. Now moving forward, what it says, let's see. If at all, if you consider the arithmetic operations, basically there are 4 arithmetic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. These are the 4 major arithmetic operations that can be performed on any of the numbers. If at all, if you perform on what you call as fuzzy set or fuzzy system, what is the outcome that you will be getting? Let us consider set A and set B. So how this will be added? A and B is being added with first element and this first element, comma, second element and second element. This is how the addition is being done with reference to the fuzzy system. Now considering with reference to the subtraction, the first element with the last element, second element with the third element. This is how the subtraction will be done. Addition, first element with reference to the third element, second element with reference to the fourth element. Here in with reference to subtraction, first element with reference to the last element and second element with reference to the third element. This is how subtraction is been done. Now with reference to the multiplication, now if at all there are 2 sets A, B and C, D, how it is been done? We will be considering the minimum of AC, AD, then BC, BD, and maximum of same thing AC, AD, BC and BD. If at all, if you remember, this is the same thing that we have done in the previous type of things with reference to consideration of, or you can say conversion of a fuzzy system into a crisp system, or a fuzzy set into a crisp set. If at all, if you remember, this is the same thing that we have done, minimum of, maximum of. Now what this will return? This will return the minimum of the value and this will return the maximum of the value. This will return the minimum of the value and this will return the maximum of the value. Now considering the division type of things, if at all, if you want to divide 2 of the systems like AC, AD, BC, BD, the same way we have done over here, we are dividing the same thing, minimum and maximum. These are the 4 major arithmetic operations that can be performed on any of the fuzzy system. These are the 4 major operations that can be performed. Apart from that, there are more such operations that can be performed, but majority of the time or majorly will be performing these 4 types of operation on fuzzy system. This is an example to represent the addition, subtraction, multiplication and division of the arithmetic system. This is just true for the representation purpose. Like if at all, if you want to see the things, you can pause the video and you can see how things is being done. The same thing, like the same way I told you, it will be done in the same way. Okay. Now moving forward, What are the fuzzy rules? What are the fuzzy rules? Fuzzy rules is based on human knowledge or human system. What do you mean by this? Human knowledge and human systems always perform an operation which is continuous or regressive type of operations or regressive type of information. We do some particular things more and more time so that we get used to it, or we will be in such a way we will unconsciously will be doing those things. Now consider the example of writing, consider the example of reading, consider the example of riding a bicycle, consider the example of learning a car. These all of the examples wherein for the first time when we are using, we used to put all of the concentration as well as all of the efforts to learn those things. But when you get pro, or when you get professional, you do not need any of the conscious mind on the road. With unconscious mind also you can drive that bicycle. With unconscious mind also you can write some particular thing, like you do in the same thing in your examination. You will be thinking and also you will be writing. By the time you will be writing, you will be thinking more of the things. So this is how things work with the reference to the fuzzy rules. Now what it says human knowledge builds fuzzy rules, in the sense how we try to develop the things, how we try to make changes in with reference to the time. In the same way, fuzzy system also, or fuzzy rules also, will make some changes with reference to time. For an example, for the first time when you rode the bicycle or car, if at all if you are able to hold the steering, as well as when you are like you also learned how to put the gears, this was your first success. This was your first success. But also now if you can do the thing, it's not a success. The success is you need to travel safely without any of the collision, without any of the accident. That is success for you. That is success for you. Also consider the example of learning new things. For the first time it takes time, but when you are used to it, it will not take much of the time. It will not take much of the time. You can understand it with reference to the subject. Also considering our own subjects of computing, if at all if you learn it for the first time, it will look like it's very difficult. But as you put your efforts and as you put your time on this, it will start getting easier for you. It will start easing for you. Now what we are going to do here? What we are going to build a system in such a way, based on our previous knowledge, we will be taking further decisions. Now what it says, consider the decision to bring an umbrella to work under the following circumstances. What are circumstances? 70% of chances of rain, 70% chances of the rain. In the sense, there is a 70% of the chance of the rain. For that reason, you will be bringing an umbrella. Second is, an umbrella will keep you dry. Okay, if at all if it rains, it will keep you dry. If it rains, you will get wet. If at all if you don't have umbrella, so you will get wet. And the last thing is, like, if you get wet, you will be uncomfortable at work. You get wet, so you will be uncomfortable at the work. In the sense, the main thing is like it is all making the possibilities. It is all making the possibilities and predictions. What are the possible type of outcome that can come through this fuzzy type of system or fuzzy type of rules. Now what is the next point? It says, through this knowledge you reason to bring an umbrella to work. The knowledge of the percentage of rain and what an umbrella is used for led you make rules that guided you through your reasoning. See, this is very simple. If at all if you observe the pattern of writing your examination with reference to your first year, with reference to your second year, now you are into the third year, you see the pattern how you wrote the examination. When you were in 10th class, you were only supposed to write only short answer questions. What is been taught in the class, the same thing you wrote in the what you call as examination. But when you came into your intermediate, there was something called as you were been taught something. Based on the things that were been taught, some of the problems were given, not the exact one, but based on that some of the problems were given. Now in your engineering, the things have changed. You are just given the concepts. Based on that concept you need to write the answers. You have been taught the concept, but based on that concept you will be writing the examination. The same thing happens. Fuzzy system will predict how things will be analyzed and how decisions will be made based on that particular rules, or based on particular on that type of system. I hope you understood something from this. You got some idea with reference to the fuzzy rules and fuzzy logic type of things. We will continue in the next session. Thank you for joining. Hope to see you in the next session. That's all for now. All the best for the day. Thank you.